So you identify as transgender.
Yeah, yeah. I identify as a trans man.
Trans man. Okay. So then with that, how did you know?
Mm. When I thought I was a stud, nothing I did was good enough. Nothing I did to my appearance, nothing I did. Like I'd ride around with my homeboys, I'd try to outdo them. Like I'd try to just do all this crazy stuff, and it's just like I didn't get that feeling. I didn't get that feeling of satisfaction. I was just like, man, I still don't feel like I'm one of them, and they don't look at me like I'm one of them. Like I know I'm one of them. It was just a feeling of I used to do crazy stuff to my hair. Like I did everything in my power to look a certain way, and it didn't fulfill me because nobody took me serious. And it's crazy how testosterone changes the brain chemistry, because now I look at studs and I'm like, no wonder they didn't look at me like a guy, because I look at studs and I'm like, you're a whole female. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like an epiphany, and like, yeah, like I'm all right. Like the friends that I got, they okay with it. I didn't really get shunned by anybody. Like my Facebook page, they cool with it. Like nobody really. It wasn't a surprise. Like it wasn't like I was just girly and I'm trans. So it wasn't, you know what I'm saying, too much of a.
So you were masculine. You presented as masculine pretty much your entire life.
Let's just say around like 16, I want to say that. And then I had a period, like I had a phase, you know what I'm saying? I had a phase like from third grade up until maybe like middle school, and then like, you know, your female friends don't want to hang out with you no more because you dress like a boy, so you try to fit in. I had like like maybe 3 years of that. But once 10th grade came back around, I was back to basketball shorts and gym shoes, and you know what I'm saying? Like I tried it. It wasn't for me. Every time I wore something, it didn't. It was so uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't like how I looked. I didn't like the feeling of being feminine. It just did not feel right, and I can't explain it. You know, I can't explain it. It didn't feel right, and I felt like that since the third grade. You know, I remember being in the car with my mom, my auntie, and like maybe like my sister and two of my cousins. We were packed in that bitch. We were packed. So they were laughing about something, and I'm a little kid, little kid. I'm talking about like 6 maybe. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I roll my eyes. I'm like, girls. They all got on my behind. They were like, you do know you a girl, right? Too, right? You know what I'm saying? And I just felt real bad. And growing up, my mama always used to be like, you can't wear that because you know you're not a boy. And then when it was back to school shopping, she'd be in the girls section, I'd be in the boys section. We both walked in the middle, and we looking at each other like it ain't. We had to compromise. It was button up. It was a 3-button up polo shirt with the khakis for the long piece because we had to compromise. I wasn't wearing it. It could have been worse, but you know, I always knew, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't until I see my first trans guy that I realized that's what that was. I guess that was your question. I was hanging out with my homeboy, and then his girlfriend's cousin came and had like a button up shirt and like but had nothing underneath, so I seen the scars, and I was like, I didn't know what I was looking at. Like when I thought of transgender, like I was so naive. I thought it was just, you know, male to female. I guess it didn't dawn on me that it could be female to male, honestly, just like that. So I'm so lost. I go home, I Google like female with chest cut off with scars. Like I didn't even know what I was looking for. And I started finding it. And then it was just, I was like, that's what it is. And then once I transitioned, I didn't do all that stuff that I did in the past to try to harden myself. I didn't feel like I had to do that because I'm already a man. You know what I'm saying? It saved me in a way. I could stop going to jail. I could stop trying to prove myself. Like, you know, it was I don't know if I'm making sense.
Nah, so let me get this straight. For like you answered a couple of my questions with just basically divulging your information. So you was pretty much going. So pretty much you were caught up in the system because you were because you were going against what you already were born into, and you didn't feel comfortable into that. And so the reason why you primarily got into the system is because you must have been fighting a lot. You were rebelling against what you were born as, but that's not who you were on the inside. And that I understand, and that makes sense. And I'm terribly sorry you had to go through all of that. And that I have a better understanding of it now and more of a respect for it than before.
I didn't know. I thought that if I was to say it, like, I knew I wasn't a cis male. When I say cis, it means like a male that was born a male. Like, I knew I wasn't, and I thought that it would be crazy to say I'm a man, you know? So I wanted to be the manliest female, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want to be a social. I just wanted to be that one exception, you know what I'm saying? But I never could be because that's just not the reality. Like, I never fixed to say it. Like, I always felt like that. I always had guy friends. I always, you know, the girlfriends, everything. But it's like I would get upset if somebody called me a girl. Like, I used to use pronouns as a stud. Like, I wanted to be called your boyfriend. I wanted to be called he. In prison, Saint could vouch for that too. Like, don't call me a she. You know what I'm saying? Like, before I even knew I was trans, my pronouns was male.
So then how did that impact your relationships with your friends and your family?
Some people was like, damn. You know what I'm saying? And some people was like, family-wise was like, are you sure? And I'm like, absolutely. You know, it wasn't too much negative. I didn't get negative feedback for real. I just hate looking online and seeing a lot of negative things said about transgender people. You know what I'm saying? And if you line up 10 different trans people, you're going to get 10 different personalities, okay? Some people do it for their own reasons, but like, I remember before my top surgery, I would cover up the window, the mirrors in my bathroom, so when I use the bathroom, I wouldn't have to look at myself. Like, I couldn't even shower. Like, I went through things. Like, I would bind with my binder and an ace bandage, and I lived alone at the time. Like, this isn't for anybody. So why am I in an apartment by myself, like, wrapping my chest up to the point where I can't breathe and sleeping like that? Because it bothers me. I don't like to touch it. I didn't like to feel it. Like, I was going through something mentally, and it was like, it wasn't for nobody to see. I didn't, you know, it was COVID and stuff. Like, I was in an apartment by myself, just almost losing my mind. I had to have the surgery, you know, because
you just weren't comfortable in your own body. Yeah, I get it.
That's tough. That's tough.